Hello YouTube, Trinity here. Today I'll be giving you a deck profile on my Greedon deck that I took to Georgia Team League a while back, and I've been playing this deck since it came out. The Greedon deck has been one of my favorite Saki restand Vanguard decks. Honestly, I think it's the best restander in Dark States, and today I'll be giving you a deck profile for it. And we'll be starting off with the ride line, which is just your standard Greedon ride line. It is the Desire Devil Taida, into Guman, into Bokusho, into Avarice Demonic Dragon Greedon. This deck is higher rarity than most just because I've pulled a lot of it over time, and it's been a deck I've been playing for a very long time. That is it for the ride line. If you know what it does, I can explain it. Greedon's a restander. If you ride Greedon on top of this, you put a card to your soul and search a copy of a card with the same name as this unit. There's a card that's regarded as the same name. Guman, when it's ridden on, you reveal Greedon to draw, and this is your standard starter. Now we'll start with the main deck. I play 4 copies of Greedon Masques. This is the mask version of the deck. I like the mask a lot. I know there's another version of the deck that you can do 4 attacks with the Vanguard. I think the mask is more consistent than the other version. I think both are very strong, just restand beaters. I think if you have the combo with the other Greedon, it's really fun. I hope eventually we get a new Greedon that isn't a mask, but right now I think this deck is fine where it is. So 4 copies of the mask. Then I play 3 copies of Musho. I was running 2. I go back and forth between 2 and 3. This is a card when your Vanguard attacks during the second battle. You call this card and it gets +5. So on a Persona Ride turn, when you have your mask, it is a 28k beater. If it's on the Dragon Tree marker, it is a 33k attacker. So that is it for the unit grade 3s. Next we run 2 copies of mask. You could run 3. I think 2 is fine. Next, we run 3 copies of the Searcher. Counterblast, Soul Blast, make a Dragon Tree marker, and then add the mask to your hand. Really solid. I was running 4, but I keep going back and forth between 3 or 2 copies of that grade 3 and 4 copies of this, because you do need the mask, but I think 3 is just fine. Next, we move on to our Desire Devils. I run 4 copies of Fujo. When he's put the soul by effect, retire a unit, and then you can bind this card to make your opponent guard with 2 or more. That is one of our win conditions, so we run 4 copies of him. 2 copies of Saiso. You could run 3 if you really need the shield value. I think 2 is fine. You want to be able to, 1's too little, you want to be able to search it off your ride line, if you can. So I think 2 is the perfect number. 1's too little. 3 is okay if you're drawing into it or damage checking it. He is just, also he's regarded as the same name as the unit in your soul, so you'll be searching this off Bokusho in the ride line most of the time. Next we run 4 copies of my favorite card, which I forget his name ironically enough. Desire Devil Alcrite. He is an energy blaster. You choose a unit from your soul and call it to rear guard. And then he gets 5k when your Vanguard attacks, and if you have 4 more damage, your Vanguard gets 5k or vice versa. But yeah, that's 4 copies of him. Next, we're moving on to my 4 perfect guards from set 1 that I just managed to trade for a long time ago, and it's just been floating around in each deck. I play 4 of them in this deck because I don't use Sanctitude in this version, mostly because it's not my tournament deck all the time, but also because I'd rather have the unit to call to eat in a bad scenario. And sometimes you will be eating your perfect guards just to get that restand, so it's good to have the unit. Next, I run 2 copies of this for when you're stuck on original Greedon. He's also just a nice 10k beater. 10k shield. And by energy blasting 3, when you eat him, he goes back to your hand. Just a pretty easy card. 4 copies of Incane to get triple drive, and also the soul charge. And then 2 copies of Guman in the main deck. Again, this could be another Dragon Tree Searcher, or it could also be a copy of your Musho or Saisho. I just want to be able to see Guman if I don't see that, just because his guard restrict is for the whole turn, and it's really good. That is part of the win condition. Moving on to the trigger lineup. 1, Dark States OT, the SP that I've had since set 1. 3 copies of the front trigger, the foil version. Again, standard 8 crit, foil crits. And then 4 copies of the heal, who was a foil heal, but it went into another deck at some point or another. That is it for, I think I took it out because I kept seeing the heal way too much compared to my crits, so I just went to I just didn't. It was more of a luck thing, but it was just a vanilla heal. So that is it for the Greedon deck. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, let me know suggestions down below. This is a deck I've really loved playing for a very long time, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao.